Alright, I'm going to give you a little story. And I want you to close your eyes and imagine the story in your head. And then you're going to do the work on your whiteboard. Sam bought 8 pieces of fruit at the farmer's market. He loves apples and oranges, so he bought some of each. Listen carefully. Sam bought 8 pieces of fruit at the farmer's market. He loves apples and oranges, so he bought some of each. What do you know? Right, you know that Sam has 8 pieces of fruit. Do you know how many oranges he bought or how many apples? No, but that's okay. This is where you get to decide how many apples he bought and how many oranges. You need to make sure that they add up to 8. Use your dry erase marker in your whiteboard to draw the oranges and apples that Sam bought at the store. Then you could make a number bond and a number sentence about your picture. Remember, he bought 8 pieces of fruit. Some were apples, some were oranges. It doesn't matter how many as long as they add up to 8. Okay, now that you've drawn Sam's apples and oranges, I'm going to draw my own story. So I know that Sam bought 8, and I know some were apples and some were oranges. Let's see. My oranges will be circles. 1, 2, 3. Let's say he bought 3 oranges, and the rest he's going to buy is apples. To figure out how many apples he bought, I'm going to start at 3 and then count up. So we have 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I drew 3 oranges. How many apples did I draw? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he bought 3 oranges. Now I can make my number sentence. And 5 apples. Now let's make sure those add up to 8. I could do this 2 different ways. I could count the shapes in my picture. Let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I could have also started with the big number and counted up. 5, 6, 7, 8. I had 5 on this hand, and I did have 3 on this hand, so I know that 5 and 3 do make 8. Now I'm going to make my number bond. I know that 8 is the whole, or the total, because there are 8 pieces of fruit altogether. And I know that 5 and 3 are the parts. The parts go into the whole. Is there another way you could do this? I know that you just came up with a way before I showed you my way. So now we have 2 ways to do it. Your way and my way. Can you come up with a third way? Sam has 8 pieces of fruit. What other combinations of apples and oranges can you make? Make the number bond and the number sentence that match your picture. There are a lot of different ways that Sam could have bought fruit. A lot of different combinations of apples and oranges. So he could have had 3 oranges and 5 apples. Could he have had 5 apples or 5 oranges and 3 apples? Yeah. He could also have had 2 oranges and 6 apples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 oranges and 6 apples. He could have only had 1 orange and 7 apples. One and 7 make 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are just some of the combinations that Cam could have used to buy apples and oranges. Okay, I have some silly stories. I first want you to listen to my silly story. Listen really carefully. The students were playing with 7 balls on the playground. They accidentally kicked some of the balls into a big puddle, and now some are muddy. What is one way the balls might look now? I want you to draw 7 balls. Make sure that you show that some of them are muddy and some of them are not. Okay, if we make this math problem together, it might look like this. We have 7 balls. I counted in my head. Sometimes I count out loud, sometimes I count in my head, but it's always good to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Did I get it right? Yep, I've got 7 balls. Okay. Some of them were muddy and some of them weren't. So I could make this any way I want. How about we color in a couple in the beginning, in the front? 1, 2. Let's say 2 are muddy. If I say that 2 are muddy, then how many aren't muddy? Let's make the number bond. Two of them are muddy, and some of them aren't muddy. Let's count the ones that aren't muddy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I drew 2 that were muddy, and how many that weren't muddy? Right, 5. So 2 that were muddy, and 5 that were not muddy. All together, how many balls were there on the playground? If you don't remember, what's one way you could figure that out? Right, you could look at the shapes that you drew when you started the problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 balls altogether. Does 5 and 2 make up 7? Well, I've got 1, 2 here, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 and 2 are 7. Where would I put the 7? What is the 7 called? It's our, right, it's our whole or our total. And the whole or total always goes in the spot where the parts connect to. These are like the connecting links. The parts go inside the whole, so we know that the 7 goes here. Where do our parts go? Right, in the 2 other circles that connect to the whole. Does it matter if I put a 5 or a 2 here? Nope, doesn't matter. It's the same thing, because 2 and 5 make 7, and we know that 5 and 2 make 7.